welcome back to my channel and to another folding video while we chat. Fold and chat. Like fluff and fold, when I first started this series, I tried to come up with a clever name and I just couldn't get there. And if I think that I'm going to be able to do it now with pregnancy brain, I clearly have pregnancy brain. Here we go, diving in. I sort of like teed this up in maybe it was the last video or two. I've been thinking about wanting to talk about this in this video, and I cannot wait to hear or rather read your comments. That's my favorite thing about these folding videos, is just like the conversation starter and then seeing where you guys go from there. So today is all about asking for help. This all spawned, is spawned the right word? I always think spawn as like an evil character, like a monster, like the spawn of a monster. Okay, anyways, this all came about because I had recently shared with you guys that I was kind of having a rough patch. I was dealing with some depression that probably was tied in with my hormones, but also just with like life and changes and pregnancy, you know, the whole thing. And sort of how I've been coming to terms with it, how I've been dealing with it, and I really realized that talking about it has really helped. Well, fast forward, I put that video up and then I was doing pretty good, and then I sort of had another rough patch, and I realized it's because besides my husband, I don't ask anyone for help. Now, my husband is the champ of all champs. This man can lift me up when I am very low. He gives motivational speeches like no one I've ever met, and he just knows how to sort of handle me in a sense that like he knows what I need to be told and how I need to be led when I need it. And I'm just like so grateful. Okay, I had to pause the video because literally my husband's ears must have been ringing and he just called me just to chat on his way to work. So anyways, this is all to say, I love that man, but also I realized like it's a lot to put on one person, even though he's up for the task, but also like I feel like I was sort of like hiding. Not hiding isn't the right word, but like I wasn't really telling my friends what was going on, and I never asked them for help. And he was, in fact, was like, you know, you really should like reach out to a friend, specifically friends that like have gone through pregnancy, etc., or like, you know, whatever, have similarities to like the things that you're bringing up, like reach out. And I'm like, I don't know, I just like, I feel like I'm not supposed to be that friend in the friend group, like that's not my role, which is so stupid. And I've talked about that a lot, where it's like, no, relationships, whether it be friendships or whatever, or like, you know, partnerships should be like full service, you know what I mean? You can't just like accept or expect someone to just be good all the time. They're allowed to have their down times, and that goes for yourself. So I did it. I reached out to every single friend who I feel close enough with and who I talk to like on a regular basis, and basically was just like, I need help. Like, I'm okay, I'm safe, like I just need help sorting through like what is going on in my head, because I am struggling, like I'm wholeheartedly struggling and I need help. And I use the words I need help in several of the conversations, and the response was so lovely. It wasn't scary, it wasn't over the top. I'm always like worried about being like, ironically, I know this is what I do for work, but I hate being the center of attention. I hate it so much. Like, that's why I like going out in groups of 3, because I feel like with groups of 3 I can like sit back and not have to talk about myself. I'm really good at like asking people questions and engaging in other people's stuff, but like when it comes to me, I get really uncomfortable. And so I guess that was part of my hesitation in having these like sort of deeper conversations, but everyone was so helpful in their own like specific way and had a lot to offer in terms of either motivation or just like, yeah, that sucks, which sometimes helps. Like, you don't always need a fixer. You kind of need, at least I needed like a well-rounded assortment. I needed the fixer, I needed the sympathizer, I needed someone to tell me like that this happened to them and this is totally normal, you know. I know I'm being a little vague about the details of what I was explaining, but just to say, like, reaching out, like, took it above and beyond what I was expecting and helped further pull me out of a funk that I was so deep into. Not to say, like, I still need to continue to do the work and go to therapy, which reminds me, actually, I contacted my therapist to see if I can get an extra session in and was like very much like, I need a little extra help here. And unfortunately, she wasn't available, but she did write me back like kind of this like long passage in email form that was super helpful for, so even just reaching out for help, from her and not getting the full extent of the session still was helpful because I got a response back. So I guess the lesson I'm trying to like push forward is like, first of all, vulnerability goes a really long way. Mind you, there's like definitely a time and a place for it, but like being vulnerable and really sharing how you're feeling when you need help is so important and is so okay. And I am giving you permission to ask for help. I'm 40 years old and it's taken me this long to be like, it is okay to ask for help in any form, in small form, big form, in like big situations, small situations. Like reaching out to your network of friends and asking for help when you need it is so important, and it's so liberating, and it's so helpful. Duh, but it is. It's all so much easier said than done. But like, I guess my personality trait was always just like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. And or instead of like admitting that I can't do it, I would just shove things under the rug. So even if it's like, you know, I don't know, not being able to properly budget something, instead of just like asking for help from my husband or from like like an accountant or something, I just like shove it under the rug instead. It's like it's like not opening your mail kind of thing, which I think we've talked about before. That's like a form of not asking for help, because either I was embarrassed or lazy or sad or aloof, whatever the case is. But I'm just curious to know, like, is your personality type the type who is good at asking for help? What does that feel like? Or are you similar to me and there's no wrong or right answer? Is like, this is human nature and everyone operates differently? Or are you like me, where it's like, it's really hard to ask for help, and so instead you like fester and you let the emotions get the best of you, and it comes out in weird, odd, hard ways? And like, God bless, again, sorry to keep bringing it up if it's getting like obnoxious, my husband, but like when you're in a relationship and you're living with someone and they see the day-to-day, it is like near impossible to hide what's really going on. So, you know, luckily I have him to sort of sometimes like push me to the point where I do talk about it and I do ask for help. Otherwise, if I was like, you know, here by myself, which I'm sure a lot of you are by yourself, and I lived by myself for a really long time, it's easy to just, again, it's easier to just like shove things under the rug and let it like, I'm like thinking of like kimchi or like kombucha, like letting it, what's the word I'm looking for, like not marinate, brain, you know what I mean? Cool, what is the word I'm trying to think of? You know, it's basically just like bubbling up over time. So yeah, I felt, of course, as I usually do when I go into these videos, that I have like so many more ideas and examples to share with you. This is obviously something that just happened to me, and I think, like we had talked about before, like turning 40 kind of maybe hit me a little bit harder than I had expected. And so also being able to like sort of say that out loud and ask for advice or whatever from some of my friends who are a little bit older was also helpful. But you know, this is just like an ongoing thing that I will continue to work on. And now when I start to examine my past and think about the things that like I never asked for help on before, I'm like, wow, I really could have carved an easier path for myself had I just like done it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm thinking back, my mom will like this story. Hi Mom, if you're watching. I used to like be so afraid, like I was really shy in public. still like struggle in public, obviously. I think it's like manifested into social anxiety, but like I had trouble, like I remember, and my mom will remember this too, like at McDonald's, like I wanted more ketchup or probably more barbecue sauce because that barbecue sauce is dope. And I was just always so afraid to like go up to the counter and ask. And my parents were really good about being like, you can do it, like you can go ahead and ask, like we're not gonna do everything for you, like it's good to learn that, like independence and speak up for yourself and stuff. But I remember being so like deathly afraid of going up to the counter to ask for more ketchup or barbecue sauce. And I feel like that just like rolled into this like bigger picture thing that I am now realizing. Just interesting when you like start to break down some of your barriers and your walls and your habits, and like you can trace them back like super far, which is like what therapy is, some forms of therapy are all about. So that's kind of interesting. On that subject, I was trying to think of another example of like things from my childhood. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. Like now in talking about, Jeff and I are obviously having a lot of conversations about like how we want to raise our child and you know what we want to. Oh, I can see our baby girl now. If you watched the gender reveal, if not, I just spoiled my own gender reveal. But how we want to raise baby girl and like, you know, try our best to like give her the best chance at like, you know, life and social settings and all that stuff. I mean, it's so much pressure, and as we all know, our childhood really does like leave a blueprint on how we sort of proceed through life moving forward. And so, you know, there's definitely, we've had these conversations about when to step in and help a child and when to like let them figure it out themselves. I am not the person to like preach about this at all because I seriously don't know. This is just, we have just started to crack into these conversations, and I'm sure a lot of you parents out there have lots to say, and I also think like every child is different, so not one book or one theory or one plan works for every child. We know that to be true, but this idea, Jeff was talking to a friend of ours who was telling him about this book that he really loved, and this idea of like, if your child breaks a toy, or like, let's say their Lego is broken or whatever, not broken, but like comes apart, and they come to you and they're like, oh, it's broken, instead of like immediately, oh, it's broken, I need help, instead of like immediately fixing it for them, like engaging in like, well, let's see, can you try to fix it yourself kind of thing. I don't know, I just went on a tangent, and I guess that doesn't really line up with the asking for help thing, because you don't want to like shut down their ask for help, but it's also like, I don't want to do everything for them because I want her to gain like independence and figure out how to do things on her own. So I guess there's like a fine balance, right? Because I don't want her to not ever ask for help when she really needs help. But it's like this fine sort of balance, which I guess then circles around to how I want to approach things in my life moving forward, and knowing when I need to ask for help and when it's okay for me to sit back, analyze, and try to figure some stuff out on my own. Because I am an independent lady, and I am proud of that, and I am strong and smart, and I feel like a lot of times I don't immediately problem solve. Instead, I just wallow, and like I like the motivation and the reminder that like, no, I can fix this, I can do this. So I don't want to take that away from myself, but I also want to make sure that when it gets to a point where I really do need to ask for help, that I ask for help. Wow, guys, I feel like you follow me. I feel like as I'm talking, I second guess myself, but for the most part, you guys seem to follow what I'm saying and have lots more to say on that. So hopefully this conversation was engaging and helpful to you in one way or another. So in the comments below, like I had mentioned, let me know, what is your personality trait in terms of asking for help? Are you someone that feels comfortable asking? Are you someone that always asks? Or are you someone that like really has trouble doing it? And what are your thoughts and feelings about it? Be nice to each other, because everyone probably has some different thoughts on it. There's no right or wrong answer, like I said before. And also, if you are a parent and you feel like sharing, again, no judgment. I know there's a lot of judgment that comes around parenting, and like, I ain't here for that. I ain't here to give it, and I ain't here to take it. But like, do you have general theories? And this is, I guess, a lot to ask in the comment section, but if you feel like going for it, some of you are just so thoughtful in your responses and I love reading them. What are your theories on like helping your child? I mean, obviously you're going to help them succeed in life and like help them with like, you know, help them, what am I trying to say? I was gonna say like help them go to the bathroom, but like, you know what I mean? Like help them when they literally can't do something and lift them up to wash their hands and stuff like that. But what, I don't know. I'm lost my train of thought, shocker. Like, what are your theories on helping them in general? Like, is it good to let them try out stuff, or do you want to help them immediately? Let me know in the comments below. We did pretty good actually on the folding. I've been staying on top of my laundry. Guys, also before I go, I guess the third question would be a little bit more self-serving in that I got this bag of hand-me-down clothes, baby clothes that look great, but it's a huge bag, and I have so many more bags coming because I am so lucky, and I do have so many wonderful friends who have had wonderful babies, and they all have clothes for me, so I know that I can't keep everything. I don't have the space, and we simply don't need it, and so I do want to go through the bag and kind of pick and choose and then donate the rest. So is that something that you would want to actually see on camera, like the holding up? It's basically like a closet purge, but of hand-me-down baby clothes. Yes? No? Let me know. Because if you're into it, maybe I'll do that for Friday. Let me know in the comments below. I really, as always, enjoy having these conversations with you guys. I appreciate you, I love you, and thank you for helping me all these years. You really, really, truly do. All right, love you guys, and I'll see you next time.